We have Gaurang Shah as well from Geojit who joins in. Gaurang, welcome to the show. Always a pleasure to speak to you. My question coming to you is in terms of the metal pack. The kind of surge that has come in the last couple of trading days, in fact, the recovery in that last hour of trade yesterday from the day's lows was also very strong. Multiple, global brokerages are also positive, specifically to the steel names. Your view?
Thank you so much, Hiral, for having me on the show. Good afternoon to all the viewers of NDTV Profit and to you as well. A small disclosure that all recommendations that I'll be sharing with you this afternoon on your show, Hiral, are a part of our fundamental research team recommendation from a long-term point of view. Our company, Geojit, or myself, we do not have any kind of investment interests, no financial interests, no conflict of interest, but we give advice to our clients on similar lines. They might have their investment interests. So while we remain positive on both Hiral, ferrous and non-ferrous, before I give out the names, I think it is prudent to give the time horizon. Given the choppiness and volatility on the news flows that comes in from the global arena, you will see moves coming in sharp, both upside and downside in the entire metal pack, ferrous, non-ferrous. But domestic consumption has increased, government capex, private capex, and creation of infrastructure, along with improvement in the real estate sector in terms of project completion run rate. If I have to sum up all these things and put one thing in perspective, then the demand for domestic flat and long products, both ferrous and non-ferrous, looks to be sustaining and moving upwards. There is also a likely possibility that because of the input cost going down, profit margins can expand going into the fourth quarter in the next financial year. Amongst the names that which we have positive coverage from a long-term point of view, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, Jindal Steel, Hindalco, Vedanta, Hindustan Zinc, NMDC, and Nalco. So these are the investment idea in both ferrous and non-ferrous.
Okay. The other counter that is in focus today is Waaree Energies, and this is after that US has slapped around 126% on exports of solar cells as well as solar module. But we did speak to the management, and the takeaway from it was that they said that they will continue to export from the Indian local manufacturers despite of this 126%. Listen in to what Abhishek Parekh had to say about this situation.
As I understand it, 50% of your order book is from your USAs. That's 15 to 20% of what you sell. That gets impacted immediately, right? While your US-based manufacturing will come in and mitigate, that will take time to come on and replace everything you're selling right now.
So, okay, there are basically two parts of it. One is local manufacturing in US, which is already up and live. We are already serving majority of our orders of US market from our US facility only. When you look at the order book,
sorry. To what extent of your US orders are being served by your US manufacturing facility at this point?
More than 70-75%.
Okay.
More than 3/4. So practically majority of anyways it was being served from US. Having said so, it does not mean that we are not going to export from India. By the way, in the tariff life of last 10-11 months, we have continued to export and we continue to keep the export volumes as similar as it was last couple of years. So our export volumes are not come down because of the tariff, because in the regulations, what really matters is how is your supply chain distributed for entire upstream products. When we manufacture panel in India and we are getting sell from those countries which are not yet tariff-free in US or which are insulated from these tariffs, you continue to export at the same rate at which those countries are being taxed out. So fundamentally, last 1 year also, we have been paying the regular tax of 15%, 20% that was normal and non-import of any panel from any country.
All right. So, Gaurang, I'll come to you on this one. You heard from the management. They said that they will continue to export from Indian local manufacturers. And largely, it is not going to impact them much, is what they've said. What is the view with regards to this development and, of course, Waaree as a whole?
So, Mahima, the problem is certainty, right? Which is not there when it comes to President Trump and the tweets and the statements that he makes. And I think situation has become more complex after the Honorable Supreme Court ruling, which was against Trump tariff. Since we are discussing the stock Waaree Energies, let me give a disclosure that we have a whole recommendation of Waaree Energies, and as the statement made by the management just some time back on your channel, they have an existing facility in the US which caters to almost 75%, if I heard it right. And whatever they are uh, exporting to the US from India also continues at the same space, if I'm not mistaken, and they continue to pay whatever taxes or tariffs which are there. But large part of what they export to the US is taken by their US manufacturing facilities. And I also read one statement some time back that there is some clarification that has been issued by the Trump administration as far as solar panels, solar cells, and certain other electronic components. What we don't have, unfortunately, Mahima, is an absolute clarity. And like I mentioned, a very on and off flip flop via tweets and statements and executive orders which are signed by President Trump. Unless we have some kind of certainty over there, I think this choppiness and volatility will tend to continue.
Okay, so the volatility could continue as well, but let's quickly pull up Vedanta on the screens as well. We were talking about it that the board meeting was to be held to consider a fundraise, and I think that announcement has already come in. That stock nearly seeing gains of 4%, and I think if I'm not mistaken, 4,000 odd crores, sorry, 3,000 odd crores is what the board has approved in terms of a fundraise via NCDs. A quick view on a Vedanta, Gaurang?
So, Hiral, again a disclosure. Like I mentioned in the entire metal list that I gave out, we have Vedanta, and again a prudent disclosure that this Monday itself, via our YouTube channel Geojet Spotlight, we have given Vedanta as one of the investment ideas from the point of view. So that's the disclosure. I think more than this news flow, I think what has excited the market is the final approval as far as the demerger process is concerned. And we strongly believe that this demerger, as and when it kicks off at ground level and separate companies get listed, you are going to find value unlocking happening. And we have maintained a positive coverage on Vedanta.
A positive coverage coming in terms of Vedanta as well. But moving on, Schaeffler is another one, a strong Q3 that they've reported. Margins have also expanded by 50 basis points. The stock up nearly 4.5% in trade. How are you looking at a Schaeffler as we speak, Gaurang? Because the numbers are pretty strong. Are you expecting the momentum to continue?
Well, I think so, because the kind of statements that have been made by the management of Schaeffler, it gives you a understanding that the order book and execution is going at a very steady pace. Unfortunately, of course, we don't have coverage on Schaeffler, so I won't go into specific of buy, sell, and hold. But I think the potential is very, very huge, given the order book capability, capacity, and experience of the management to execute that.
Okay. All right. So that's the view coming in on Schaeffler. But we also spoke to the management of Chalet today and to understand as to how Q4 is shaping up. He said that, it will shape up well, but it will not catch up to how it's done in Q3. Listening to what Shwetang Singh, the MD and CEO of Chalet Hotel, had to say.
Q4 is not looking as good as Q3 was, but I can tell you that it's still going to be a very healthy growth. January was disappointing on several counts, as you said, one being socials. Mumbai went through an election and sort of always messes with the business locations, but helps with the leisure locations. And that's exactly what we experienced as well. But overall, the quarter will come out in double digits. That much I can tell you now. And it'll be still be a very strong quarter.
Gaurang, I'll come to you on this one. In the hotel space, we did a story today saying that, it's largely the growth has been led by the average room rate increase and not occupancy. It's not going up. What's your read here and, of course, your pick in the hotel space?
So, Mahima, we remain optimistic, positive on the entire hospitality sector. And look, one quarter, so there are two times of impact on the hospitality sector based on events. Now, if it's a celebratory event like festivals or marriage, engagements, etc., you will see more occupancy and the occupancy run rate going up. And because of certain events, you might see that occupancy run rate going down. But overall, if I have to put things into perspective, then I think post-COVID, room tariffs have gone up considerably. Room occupancy run rate has also gone up considerably. Newer projects are being launched by certain hospitality related companies, most of them, in fact, either they are increasing their existing capacity or they are acquiring new properties. We have coverage, and Chalet Hotels happens to be one of the strongest players. But we have coverage on Indian hotels, Mahima, from a long-term point of view. And I think the fourth quarter in the next financial year is going to throw up a lot of opportunity, given the fact that not only in this budget, but also in the last budget, tourism in India has been given a huge boost. And along with that, medical tourism is also being promoted by the government of India. So this
Absolutely.
may translate into positivities for hospitality sector.
So lots of positives that could be coming in there. But thank you, Gaurang, so much for joining in. Always a pleasure to speak to you and get your views.